There is so much anticipation for the upcoming Premier League 23-24 season. Today we're having one last look at some predictions before me and Sophie give you our official predictions in about 2 weeks' time. Today we're looking at what would happen if we merged my early predictions, Sophie's early predictions, Cookie's predictions and the bookies' predictions. We're wondering what would happen if you merged the four of them, and this is the ultimate table that it gives us. This is all of our predictions combined, and this is what the Premier League table would look like. It's a bit of fun, guys. Don't take it too personally if your team isn't in a place you want them to be. Just let me know your predictions down below, guys. Do make sure if you enjoy this content to hit that like button. We'll go for 399 likes on this video, and do make sure to subscribe. 70% of viewers haven't subscribed, so come on, join the Premier League content over here and hit that subscribe button. Let's get into today's video. As you can see in front of me then, we have got a tier list, and today, as I say, we're merging everyone's predictions, and this is what the table would look like if all four of the predictions we've shown you on this channel were to be merged together. Like I say, our official predictions are still to come out in a week or two's time. Let's work our way from the bottom to the top, starting with Sheffield United. Sheffield United have come bottom with all of our predictions put together. Cookie, the bookies and Sophie have all gone for Sheffield United to be relegated this season. I actually tipped Sheffield United to stay up. I think Sheffield United could stay up, but I couldn't save them. My prediction on its own wasn't enough to save Sheffield United here, as the other three went for them to go down. At this moment in time, I feel like there's a real split amongst the fan base. Every time I put a video out, there's half of the people saying Sheffield United will survive. There's about half of the people saying they will go down. So I do think it'll be close, but at the moment, Sheffield United are in the bottom with the predictions merged together. Blades fans, share your thoughts. What's your thoughts on your transfer activity at the moment? Do you feel that you've got a good chance of staying up, or do you think it could be straight back down to the Championship this season? Let me know down below. Next up are Luton Town. Luton Town just coming ahead of Sheffield United here in 19th place, but ultimately still going down. The highest prediction was from Cookie. Cookie actually backs Luton Town to finish 16th place this season, which would be amazing. As I said in the transfer video I most recently done, I feel like if we keep an eye on Luton Town's business and it continues to be the three words I said, steady, sensible and sustainable, then I might lean towards Luton Town possibly staying up. But the majority of us have gone for Luton Town to go down, and they are coming up in 19th place here. Let me know your thoughts, Luton fans. Let's move on to the final team being relegated. It was close here between the team in 18th and the team in 17th, but in 18th place with the predictions put together, it's AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth in the bottom three, and as I said for Sheffield United, the same applies for AFC Bournemouth. When I look at your comments, half of you think they'll go down, half of you think they'll stay up. I tell you what, respect to the Bournemouth fans, because they are so positive, and there's every right to be after what they did last season. They proved everyone wrong, and it looks like they might have to do the same again next season. I actually tipped Bournemouth to stay up in my early predictions. I had Bournemouth in 16th place, but once again I couldn't save them. Sophie also had them in 16th place, but it was the prediction from Cookie and the bookies which has dragged Bournemouth into that bottom three. Bournemouth fans, share your thoughts down below. Next up then, as I say, it was close, but they've just scraped survival. It's Everton, and it would be typical for Everton to finish in 17th place again after two near relegations. The predictions for Everton from us were really wild. I actually tipped Everton to go down in my early predictions, so too did Sophie. The bookies think Everton will stay up in 14th. Cookie has Everton up in 10th place, which has really sort of dragged their overall rating up from a bottom three team here. Once again, I feel like there's a real split on Everton. I think a lot of people are concerned for Everton with the off-the-field issues. If there was to be a points deduction, as I say, there's just speculation at this moment in time, but if there was to be, that could really hamper them and suck them down. But at the same time, I understand the Everton fans when they say Sean Dyche is a good manager, he'll keep us up again, he could even push us up the table. So I'm a bit conflicted on Everton. Overall, they have just stayed up with all of our predictions merged together. Next up, our newly promoted Burnley, the only team that has come up to stay up on this table. And I think in general, when I look at a lot of people's predictions for the new season, Burnley are the team that a lot of people have hope for out of the three coming up. Look, it's possible we could see all three teams survive. We saw that last season when a lot of them were getting written off. The bookies had the three to come up to go back down last year. Pretty similar with the bookies this year. I've backed Burnley to stay up. I actually said 14th, but everyone else said around 17th, just getting over the line. So that's dragged them to about a 16th place finish. Burnley fans, share your thoughts. Is it just a case of getting over the line and staying up, or do you think you could actually push on into that mid-table segment of the table? Share your thoughts if you're a Burnley fan. Next up, the final team in this bracket, so surviving in 15th place, are Fulham. We had a bit of a split with the predictions for Fulham. Mine being the harshest, I said Fulham could really be in trouble in the relegation zone. I did get a lot of stick from Fulham fans, and fair play to them. You know, they did do amazing last season, so they've got every right to say that they can have another good season next year. I am a believer in second season syndrome applying to some teams, not to an extent where they necessarily go down, but where they just regress in that next season. It's going to be interesting to see. Fulham's team is full of quality. They have got a lot of good players. A lot of their players have been sought after as well. We spoke about Mitrovic in the recent Premier League transfers video. I wouldn't be surprised to see them mid-table personally. That's what Sophie and Cookie went for them. The bookmakers being slightly harsh to Fulham as well. They said in 15th place. Fulham fans, share your thoughts. You've come up 15th with all of our predictions merged together. Let's move on to the mid-table bit. The teams that are going to be all right. They're going to be safe. The first team that pops up are Wolves. There was a little bit of a split in the predictions here for Wolves. So I said Wolves would be 12th, which was, you know, fairly generous after last season. Sophie said 15th. Cookie said they're going down. And then the bookies said 13th. So overall, they've kind of landed around 14th here, which I think Wolves fans would take. I'm seeing lots of people saying that they are concerned for Wolves. Some of the players going out. Will their squad be strong enough next season? Personally, I quite like the manager Lopetegui, though. I think he will do enough to keep Wolves up. It might not be an amazing season, but I just think if they can keep themselves out of the relegation dogfight this season, that's an improvement for a start. So let me know your thoughts on that one if you're a Wolves fan. The next team coming up in 13th place are West Ham United. Once again, there was a real mix of predictions here. So I said West Ham would finish 11th. The bookies think West Ham will finish 10th. So we're both going for them to be mid-table, nearly in that top half. I mean, the bookies saying in that top half. Both Sophie and Cookie think they'll be a little bit further down the table, around 14th or 15th. I keep repeating myself here, but I do think playing in Europe again next season could distract them from their Premier League campaign again. Not for me to an extent where I think they're going to go down, but maybe to a point where they struggled to get into that top half again. Next up in 12th place, it's Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest come in 12th with all of our predictions merged together. So my prediction for Forest in my early predictions was 13th. Sophie's was 11th. The bookmakers have them in 16th and Cookie has them in 14th. So none of us think Forest will go down this year. We're all ranging between 11th to 16th, which I think Forest fans would take. Just to not be worse than last season, basically. 16th again would be okay. I think their fans would be having heart attacks again, having to get over the line in that fashion. I think Forest fans in general want to push up, and if they were to get 14th, 13th, 12th, or even 11th, that would be amazing. Forest for me are going in the right direction. I can't see them going down. And with all of our predictions merged together, Forest have come 12th. Nottingham Forest fans, share your thoughts on a 12th place finish. The final team in the bottom half, I guess, in 11th place, is Crystal Palace. Now, the predictions for Palace were pretty much every one of us saying they're going to be in the bottom half, but at the top end of the bottom half. That is where they finished last year. They finished 11th. Roy Hodgson came in, did a decent job in the end when Vieira had them sort of trending down the table, albeit he had a hard run of games at that moment in time. But I think that's a good thing for Crystal Palace here. They've now been in the Premier League 10 years now, and to finish 11th, they're pretty much finishing the top of that mini league at the bottom, if you know what I mean. Breaking into that top 6, top 7, top 8 is so hard. I know teams like Brighton have done it, and that's been amazing to see. Brentford are getting there, but I still think to finish 11th in the Premier League is so impressive, and Crystal Palace pretty much there with all of our predictions put together. Palace fans, do you think it'll be a repeat of last season? Could you see yourselves going up or down the table? Let me know down below. Moving on into the top half then, this is where it gets a bit interesting. We've got teams battling for Europe here. We've got Brentford pretty much finishing exactly where they did last year. Brentford coming 10th here. We had a mix of predictions, so the bookies think Brentford are going to finish 11th. Myself and Cookie around 9th and 10th. Sophie's prediction was sort of higher up in that sort of echelons, about 5th or 6th when I looked at how she laid out her table. Brentford fans, share your thoughts. Do you think another top 10 season is achievable? Obviously the Ivan Toney situation doesn't help, but I still feel like Brentford's recruitment is second to none, so I can't see them trending down the table massively if they are to at all, to be honest. Brentford coming in 10th place here. Let's keep pushing on. In 9th place we've got Aston Villa. Where are they? Oh, there they are. We've still got the new badge. Villa fans, what's going on with the badge, by the way? Is this just to be worn on the kits or on the training kits or something? Because they're saying that they're still using the other badge, like the shield one. Anyway, predictions is what we're here for, and the predictions for Aston Villa was in 9th place. I predicted Villa to finish 8th in my early predictions. Sophie 7th. The bookmakers 9th and Cookie 11th. Cookie thinks they might slightly regress with them being in Europe next year, and as we say, we saw that with West Ham last season. It's possible we could see that with Villa, but I still think they'll be quite strong in the Premier League. Emery did an amazing job, and this will be his first full season as well, and he's got a summer transfer window. We've seen like the players they brought in, like Pau Torres as well. So I think Villa, if they're going to fall down the table at all, for me it'd be by 1 or 2 places, and that's what's happened here on this table. 9th place for Villa. Share your thoughts on that. 8th place is Brighton. Now the predictions for Brighton were 9th, 8th, 8th and 8th. So we all think Brighton are pretty much going to hold where they were last year. I know they were 6th last year, but you know what I mean. Just being in that top 8 again would be amazing. I mean, if they get top 7 again, that means definitely get Europe again. But the Europa League, I mean, that's what a competition to be in for Brighton. That's going to be really fascinating to see. And I do genuinely think Brighton could go far in that competition. Like with Brentford, their recruitment is second to none. Yes, there's big players going out the door this summer as well, but De Zerbi's a fantastic manager, and the club is just generally in safe hands. So yeah, another top 10 finish, and this would be another top 8 finish with all of our predictions fitting together. 7th place, Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham's predictions ranged from 6th to 10th. Cookie says they'd be about 6th. Sophie's prediction was as low as 10th. And with all the predictions merged together, they've landed in 7th place. One of the big talking points at this moment in time, which I didn't actually mention in the recent Premier League transfers video, is Harry Kane. It is speculation at the moment that he'd be going. There is talks, but like I say, at the moment in time, he is a Tottenham player. And that really could define where me and Sophie predict Tottenham in 2 weeks' time. If he's not at Tottenham Hotspur, you know, they lose 30 goals. I'm thinking more around 10th place. If they keep him, you know, there's no reason why they can't get into the top 4 this year, in my opinion. I feel like the recruitment of James Maddison is really impressive. And like I say, if you keep Harry Kane, just imagine James Maddison feeding Harry Kane balls. You know, he could get even more goals. All of our predictions put together have got Spurs in 7th place. Let's move on to 6th place, where we have got Chelsea. We all agree that Chelsea are going to improve a little bit this season. None of us went for them to finish in the top 4. The bookies' prediction was the most generous, with Chelsea being in 5th place. The rest of us saying around 6th, 7th or 8th. Let me know your thoughts on Chelsea, guys. I feel like Chelsea is probably the big wild card out of the so-called Big 6 clubs because of how poor they were last year, but the big amount of transition there's being in the summer this year. You got Pochettino coming in, so many players going out and coming in. Not a lot of players coming in at this moment in time, but I'm sure they will be. Like we've said, it is quite early to make a prediction, but yeah, I'm really not sure for Chelsea. Moving on to the top 5 then, and the reason I've done it as a top 5 is because these 5 were head and shoulders clear of the rest. 5th is Newcastle, pretty much drawing with the team in 4th place, which was Manchester United. We'll come on to them in a minute. The predictions for Newcastle, I said they'd be about 5th. Sophie and Cookie think they'll get in the top 4 again, and the bookies have Newcastle in 6th. Newcastle fans, share your thoughts obviously down below. As we say, one of the big talking points for Newcastle this year is the fact they're going to be in the Champions League, so, you know, does that mean they'll perform differently in the Premier League? I personally want Newcastle United to have another good season. I just like different teams breaking into that top 6. Let me know your thoughts. 4th place, as I say, Manchester United, pretty much on a par with Newcastle here because the predictions for Manchester United ranged from 6th up to 2nd. Cookie had Manchester United in 2nd. United fans, share your thoughts. I've actually seen quite a few Manchester United fans on social media saying that they could get as high as 2nd or 3rd this season, which would be incredible. But I think just to hold in that top 4 again, if they finish 3rd again, you know, that's where they were last season. But to jump to 2nd, I know it might not seem like a big gap going from 3rd to 2nd, but I think that is a massive step. Could anyone see them challenging for the title? Is that a bit of a stretch? Let me know down below. So then the next 3 clubs are quite clear of 4th and 5th. In 3rd place, it's Liverpool. All 4 of us predicted Liverpool to finish 3rd, so that is where they have landed. I think when it comes to my predictions, I'm torn between about 2nd, 3rd or 4th for Liverpool. I do think they're going to get back on track. I think Jurgen Klopp can't let last season get to him. I know they're going to be playing on Thursdays with Europa League football, but I personally think Liverpool will get back into that top 4. The question is, at which team's expense? Do you see Newcastle or Man United or Arsenal falling out, or maybe you guys might just think Liverpool won't get back in there, but they have come 3rd with all of our predictions put together, and you know, the signings of McAllister and the players they're being linked with, pretty exciting for next season. 2nd place, Arsenal. No one's backed Arsenal to win the league, but most of us went for them 2nd. The bookies have Arsenal 2nd, Sophie has Arsenal 2nd, I have Arsenal 2nd, Cookie had Arsenal 5th, but they have still come 2nd here. Who do you think is the biggest threat to Manchester City this season? If we're talking about which team might overtake them or compete with them this year in the title race, would you say Arsenal? Would you say Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle? Who do you think has the best chance of pushing Manchester City? Because I want to see a title race next year. I know we're all predicting Man City to win the league, but it'd be nice to see someone at least pushing them. I know Arsenal pushed them last season, but then they still handed it to them, didn't they? And then no surprises. Manchester City, top of the league. All four of us have gone for Man City to win the league. Myself, Sophie, Cookie, the bookmakers, we all think Manchester City are just too hard to overthrow. When I put a question out last month asking you guys who's the biggest threat to Manchester City, a lot of the comments said themselves, and I agree with that. Not to discredit the other teams because they are getting stronger. Newcastle, Arsenal showed that they're improving over last season, but Manchester City have just got so much quality and so much depth in that squad that something would have to go terribly wrong, like a possible points deduction or relegation. That would obviously present the opportunity for someone else to win the Premier League. But at this moment in time, we've all gone for Man City to win the league. Let me know if you agree. So then guys, that wraps up today's video. That's all four of mine, Sophie, Cookie's and the bookmakers' predictions merged together. Do you think that table is rubbish? Let me know down below in the nicest way possible. If you disagree, don't be horrible, be nice about it. And let me know if you agree as well. You might actually like that table. If you've enjoyed though, hit that like button. Please do make sure to subscribe as well, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.